About a year or so ago, a woman who's been a member of our organization for a number of years offered to give us some money to start a work project because her daughter, who had been mentally ill, had died, and she gave us the funds to purchase this old house. Our goal with this old house is to remodel the house, and in the process to train 8 or 10 or 12 people who have a mental illness so that they are also remodeling their lives.
Biggest dream, to get married, and by the time I retire, to have at least saved up money for retirement, and maybe have bought a house so I can say I've accomplished something and have something to leave. Like I have a daughter, and she's 30 years old. She has a bachelor's in music, and she may have her master's by now. I hope my dream is to, by the time I retire, to have built up a financial portfolio where I can leave something to my kids.
Oh, the house is in horrible condition. The shingles are falling off. All of the windows in the basement have been boarded up, so it's dark as a dungeon down there. It only has one bedroom. We're going to raise the roof, and we're adding on 4 extra bedrooms in the back. Our goal is to have it completed. It's now May. We plan to have the construction starting this week. We plan to have an open house the week of Thanksgiving.
Well, I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought it would be a good project to give back to the community, to fix up a house and give back to the community, to the neighbors for seeing such a junky house. Some people had construction work before, others had landscaping, others in and out of jobs, so we had basically no idea what was to be expected or to be learned. I figured if this project worked out that there'd be more than one to do, and that it was another way to meet friends. That was one of the main goals, I think, of a lot of people, that they were glad that they could do construction and learn a trade, but they could also make friends.
There's nothing up here in this section, which is why
At first, I didn't know that she had 37 years of experience. She's not very tall, really skinny. When you got down to it, I really found that she did know a lot. Well, she came up with the floor plan. You know, she got us working in teams sometimes. She got us working alone. She got us doing stuff that I wouldn't imagine myself doing, from the painting to the repairing.
Starting
to the
off
ripping,
was difficult. Very, very steep learning curve, which they all managed to make, which is extremely impressive. At this point, I have a crew that's working toward a professional designation.
Actually, I built a house of my own about 20 years ago. I didn't complete it because I was struck with mental illness. I was living with, it's called a cluster house for transitional resources, and there was me and 4 other guys, and I was working part-time on a landscaping crew. I still am doing that, a couple of days a week part-time. It was similar to this, except I like this a lot better. I helped make it happen, and me and the guys here will get along real good. I helped complete it, I helped construct it from what it was, and it feels like part of my home, you know, it feels like home. From what I've learned here, I learned that I really enjoy carpentry, and I'm applied to Seattle Central Community College in the fall to go into their cabinet making and fine woodworking program, and I'm going to do that, and that's going to be my career. And I'm hoping, you know, maybe after I'm done with that and I'm still feeling well, that I'll be able to you know, be independent.
The place was a wreck. We really had quite a bit of work to do to it. There was a, you know, it was very good grounds for the trainees to learn many of the skills. The things that we dealt with were more the structural issues and the frame and the hard construction.
Before I got in the project, I was doing some janitorial and dishwashing. I was living at Keystone Congregate Care Facility, and when each day started, I'd get up, take my meds, and go to program and dishwash a couple days a week. Well, the future was bright and clear, but not all the white light and stars that you'd expect. But it was time to move on, so it was really nice to make a commitment and get going on this project. I have a dual diagnosis, alcohol and drug. Yes, it's real and I realize it, but I like working on it quietly instead of even really talking about the down and dirty symptoms or body or mental problems. I just would like to say that my biggest fear is not taking care of my alcohol and drug problem. As I say, 6 years, 4 months, it's given me the expression to have I'm on a 20-year program, and I'm already 3.5 months to the 7th year. This program enables me to really, really live with the truth. Paranoia, depression, I keep it quiet, and when I do heal within, I bring it out the best that I can for any extreme movement, like a full-time job or a really strong, heavy load. I use my best tools for the job available.
I want to buy a van and travel down the West Coast. That's one of my dreams right now. Want to drive over to Ocean Shores and stay there for a couple days, and then drive down the coast, drive down through Oregon, go to the Oregon coast. Want to go to California, San Francisco, just slowly travel down through California and go to Arizona and visit my cousins. And I don't know, I can still make that dream come true once I get a job.
I feel incredible pride that he's done this, that it's a real visible sign to me how far we've come in 5 years since he had his psychotic break, because Matt was using drugs and alcohol. He was very paranoid. He was in the hospital. And now, 5 years later, he's learning a trade, and he's proud of himself, and he has friends. It's better than I ever expected it to be. He is ready to move. This is his house, and he feels like a grown-up young man who is ready to make a move into his own home that he helped build. And that feels so much different than having to put your child in a group home where, you know, you don't have much control, that people who don't love him are the people that are making the decisions. And this feels so good because all the parents have gotten involved as time has gone on. So I've gotten to know the parents. It's wonderful to know that these people have dealt with what I've dealt with, and that they're real healthy and they really care about their kid, and they're moving on. It's hopeful for all of us.
I see this as more than a make-work project. This is a real work project. I've been practicing psychiatry since 1968, and I do not remember ever seeing a home like this, which was taken from a real dump and turned into a livable place for mentally ill people, done by the patients themselves. If you've been mentally ill and you've had to drop out of school, or you've lost jobs, or you've essentially become non-functional in society, the steps back are small ones, and you learn that you can do one thing, and then you learn you can do another thing, and you get excited by the fact, hey, I can do something, and you begin to expand. And I think that most of us who have had a continuously productive life don't really understand what it's like to go down to nothing, and then to try and start taking those very first steps in coming back up the ladder of productivity. We have this image, part of the stigma of being mentally ill is that you can't do anything, or that you'll never be able to do anything, so you're just done. And what this demonstrates is that you can be mentally ill at a certain point in your life, get some treatment, and go back and actually pick up skills, new skills that you didn't have before, and be very competent in the society. All kinds of people have to deal with mental illness. It is a very prevalent condition, one that very few of us go through our life without having some direct contact, either with our own problems or someone we know or someone in our own family. And it's not a respecter of person or status or money or of a whole lot of other things. In that sense, it is a community problem that we all have to deal with, and we need to deal with it as it's been dealt with here.
And my name is John Owen Jr. I'm Eleanor's son.
I know you.
I've known John for a long time, and I see a young man with a whole lot of productive capacity demonstrated that hasn't been there for a long time.
Almost completely finished, and we're also proud of ourselves because
Should
we are
be.
learning to accomplish and not sitting there discussing how terrible life is for each other, you know. The main thing I learned from the Hofmann house is that awareness of other people can make people strong enough in their own willingness to get along with other people so that they give each other inspiration. That's what the main thing I learned from Hofmann house. Each time we came, we got a little bit further into responsible, productive work ethics and work behaviors, and there wasn't any conflict with us. There was no fighting amongst us at all, and it just tended to get better and better and better. I came out of the work process inspired that it's interesting just to try things. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody learns from their mistakes, and it's easier to learn from your mistakes by doing something that's constructive than to avoid a big mistake by doing something unconstructive. People learn to be their own inspirators when they can conceive of something that will help them in dealing with their own life.
Actually, that one's going to go, yeah, and we'll take it a little bit higher than this one since we were a little
Okay.
One of the things you can sometimes do, Kevin, if you realize you're smaller on one side than the other, is slightly tilt the thing in the breaker. And that way you can even break it on an angle. I'll show you that next.
Okay, thank you.
Well, basically I was a tile setter and I got injured, so I was working at Home Depot and I met Eleanor, and she was talking about this project of the guys building their own home, so I offered to come over and give them some professional advice and hopefully help them do a better tub surround, so if they live here it'll last a while for them. But I've really enjoyed the experience. As a matter of fact, I told them I would keep doing it. If they keep doing the project, I'd be more than happy to always come back when they get to the tile part.
So by putting the one on there and then touching the wall with this, right, you're following that line exactly. So
The very first night when I realized I was coming here the next morning, I said, what did I agree to do? I don't have time for this. And now I look forward to the days that I come here to work with the guys. They're always happy to see me, and they always thank you at the end of the day for what they learned, and And like I said, I think it's a great idea. I think it should be done more.
Prior to the project, I'd been living where I'd always been living in my own house in Rainier Valley. At the time, I was unemployed. Employment is sometimes a difficulty. I have seasonal depression, so that interferes with a steady workflow for each year. My illness is bipolar depression. Started in 1984, and it's been with me ever since. It's sort of a huge hurdle, because every year I feel normal, and then I feel for 6 months depressed. Attempts to correct this in the past have had me going to psychiatrists. I've been prescribed antidepressant medications, which unfortunately have not worked, and have instead run me into a state of mind called mania, which has caused me to be dropping out of college courses or being let go of at places of employment. It's unfortunate. I'm told there's hope in the future of proper medication for people with bipolar depression. I truly hope this happens, because it's just kind of tough to be sort of a dual person each year and keep things going in a continuous path, be it either in schooling or through employment. I think the project was very worthwhile in what it did. And I really encourage other projects the same to be carried out, because it's a good thing for people to feel a part of their dwelling space rather than just being said, well, this is where you're going to live. And that's, I mean, in this way, they're doing something for themselves, and they're styling it to their own needs.
Well, today we've been got a team out here from the United Way, and we're doing a little carpentry work on the house, trying to help everyone out. Our company has been involved in United Way Day of Caring for the past several years, and it's something that we look forward to. And this year it came up, and Eleanor contacted us as the interested party as far as our event for this United Way Day of Caring, and so we that's pretty much how we got involved.
I was diagnosed as a schizophrenic, and I was put on disability in 1973, and I started to recover, and I enrolled in school in 1978, but what happened is I had a head injury. I had been attacked by a man. I was told from a head injury that I'd never recover. While I was on disability, I exercised my mind because I was having irrational thinking, and I exercised my mind, and as it went on, I got stronger until I felt I was ready to go back to work. Right after I finished this WAMI construction program, I was hired by Equity Residential Properties a week after I graduated. I'm working as a maintenance assistant. I do groundskeeping tasks and help with maintenance tasks. I will be doing more maintenance tasks later after I take a little bit more training. It's totaled that I'm taking care of is about 400 units. I think I'm really going to be happy doing this kind of work. I'll be glad to become a tax-paying citizen again and contributing to society again.
Responding to people with a mental illness, I think, is sometimes difficult because people, say your average person, unaffected, is mainly caught up with their own day-to-day life and lifestyle and activities. It's the exceptional people that go a step further and look at themselves and how they relate to other people and how other people with mental illness might be having difficulty and how they can help those people. I think mental illness is something that's, amongst a lot of people, it's an item that's rather to be ignored than to be understood, because It's like an extra assignment that they don't really want to take on. I think the proper understanding of people with mental illness is going to take a long time, just because those people are different, people are unaffected, live their lives, and it's tough for them to pull out of their own lifestyle and pick up on the needs of other people who might be affected by mental illness.
A dream, well, a great big clipper going up to Vancouver, nice and slow, and the wind catching the flags, and just all that mess I'd left behind, clearing out in a nice wake. Ride the wind, a really nice big sailboat, right through the San Juans, and out by the sea, and back to Seattle and sit.